Well, hi there. Hey there. It is me giving you an update and also going the wrong way in a parking lane at Walmart. But it's fine. It's fine. So, welcome back. I figured I would do a video as I was driving home from Walmart. I only live like 5 minutes away, so hopefully that'll keep me from making novels like I typically do. So, a lot of updates and not a lot of updates at the same time. My last video was talking about what this past cycle was going to be like with an IUI, my first IUI, and using a trigger shot and all of the medications that I was taking. And I'm sure a lot of you, and myself included, wished that this video would be me saying that I'm pregnant. But unfortunately, the IUI was not successful, which I've had some time to come to terms with that and be okay with it. And this is the reason why. I have had my trigger shot for a year this month and have never been able to use it. So the fact that, sorry, my boobs are showing. The fact that I was able to use it this last cycle is a huge victory for me in my husband's infertility journey, because I had never ovulated on my own. We had never gotten to a point with medication that it had worked in the sense of growing my eggs enough to use a trigger shot. So I was just super happy to have gotten to that point. And I had mentally prepared myself for that, and just to be grateful for that. And of course, like anyone else who's going for infertility, I think you learn to prep yourself for seeing the negative line, and it's easy to just go ahead and assume that it's going to be negative. And I just kind of knew that I was not pregnant. You learn to know your body when you've been going through infertility this long, because you learn to pay attention to all the details. And I didn't feel pregnant. I had really essentially no symptoms, and I was very careful to not symptom spot because I had taken the trigger shot, which is the pregnancy hormone. So in turn, you'll get some symptoms just from that alone, which I will make a separate video on my experience with the trigger shot and all of the medication that accompanied it, which for me was letrozole and dexamethasone. And then progesterone suppositories. That was fun. There's nothing cuter than going to bed and be like, oh, 1 second, I just gotta shove this pillow in my vagina. It's fine. So that was a good time. But I am in an okay place. I felt like I was not pregnant, and I don't think it really hit me emotionally until I had to say out loud. And it's like making me emotional right now thinking about it. Until I had to actually say out loud to my husband, I'm not pregnant. Up until that point, I was pretty okay. And then I did that and just lost it. Which, in my opinion, when you're going through infertility, there are times, and it might be every time that you get a negative test, but there are times when you just really need a downright good cry. Hysterical, sobbing, crocodile tears, like lump in your throat, then you can't breathe out of your nose for an hour kind of crying. And that was it for me. I don't have those every cycle, but this was one of them, because I don't know that I put a lot of pressure on myself just because it was our first IUI. But I think you just have expectations, even when you're realistic. I mean, I think I'm a very realistic person when it comes to infertility. I prepare myself to the end for being not pregnant. But gosh dang, it still just gets to you. And I just cried, and that's okay. It's okay to do. My husband's always great. He's the type of person who doesn't show a lot of emotion anyways, and he's the type that doesn't talk bad about people and doesn't talk behind your back and doesn't like to gossip, and he doesn't pry into people's information, and it comes off as a way, like when I first met him, I thought this comes off as like he isn't interested in getting to know someone, or isn't interested in asking them questions about themselves or their past. He's not like a super private person. He's just, in his mind, he will be told things and he will learn things as he knows somebody. So that character trait is great with a lot of things, especially with infertility, and it's also bad with infertility. But you know, in that scenario, when I didn't get upset until I outwardly said I'm not pregnant to him, there wasn't a bunch of questions to follow it. You know, all he really said was, I thought so, you know, I saw the test on the counter in the bathroom and it was negative, and I didn't want to ask any questions because I didn't want to make you upset. And of course, if it was positive, I wouldn't have left it on the counter, which might help me in the future if I am pregnant, and you know, but I could trick him or something. But he's very, like, I don't even know if this is the right word, but he's very sensitive to not making me upset. And in this case, it was to my favor because I didn't really want to talk about it. There's honestly not a whole lot to say when you've been through this so many times, but I just appreciated that, and he just kind of let me have my time to cry about it. And yeah, that's where we're at. So we move forward. Obviously, I've been totally fine since then, and our plan moving forward is to basically duplicate this last cycle. So I will be doing, again, 12.5 milligrams of letrozole for 7 days, 2 milligrams of dexamethasone, which is a steroid, for 7 days, and then we will plan our trigger shot accordingly. And we haven't decided if we're going to do another IUI, not for the fact that it didn't work this cycle. I want to do another one, and I believe in its purpose, but this gets very expensive very quickly, especially when you've been doing it. I was not going to hit that car, okay? My car is very protective of me. That's just what I'll put it as. Like, a car could be putting on its brakes a ways in front of me to turn, and if it, like, they turn too slow, it's like, no, you're gonna run into them. And I'm like, no, like, I see them, I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay. Anyways, what was I talking about? I don't know. Expensive. It gets expensive, and right now it's Christmas time, and we just did an IUI last cycle that was unsuccessful. And I'll make a video about the cost of doing an IUI. Of course, it changes everywhere you go, but I would say overall, between medication, ultrasounds, trigger shot, and the IUI, it probably costs $800 to $900. So just right now, I don't want the pressure of having to pay for that. So if cutting out the actual IUI helps with that, since it's about $270, I'm okay with that, because I'm okay with it. I mean, because my issue has always been I haven't ovulated on my own. So, you know, if we have to not even technically, but if we have to naturally try in that aspect rather than doing an IUI, I think I'm okay with that, because at least I know that the medication worked. I took my trigger shot. We can time it correctly. And that's really a lot of what the IUI is just guaranteeing that there is sperm sitting where it needs to sit to fertilize the egg, and more of this, you know, sperm, healthy sperm especially, gets there, doesn't get lost or die in the process or go up the wrong fallopian tube or something like that. So there is a huge advantage, and I think for $270, at least right now, I'm willing to take the risk of not doing it. But we both decided to just kind of play that by ear. So that's the plan. So yeah, medication, I'll start tonight. I'm cycle day 5, take it for 7 days, go in a week from today for a cycle day 12 follicle scan, and just kind of go from there, plan our trigger shot, and then decide on an IUI. So, not pregnant, but it's okay. We're at the time of the year that we are about to begin getting certified to be foster parents, and our intent would be foster to adopt. That's something we've been planning for a while, and the certification starts at the end of the year or beginning of the year, and we're excited. I think I am obviously not to a point where I am 100% done with naturally trying, and I don't see that being in the near future, but I have come to terms with the idea that I could potentially not have my own biological children, at least on the timeline that I'm wanting to have kids or have our own. So fostering is something we had talked about a long time ago, and just with how everything's happened, trying naturally, we decided to do it the end of the year whenever their next certification came around with two of our best friends. So I think the timing's good. I think I'm okay with that. I'm excited. I'm nervous. It's something I would want to do whether we were able to have our own biological children or not. So it's something that we could get certified to do, and if I don't feel completely ready to take a child, we don't have to. That's the nice thing about fostering. It's all on our time, which is a horrible thing to say, because the idea and the purpose of fostering is to show children love that have not received that kind of love before. But it also gives the foster parents the freedom and the ability to choose when they get children, how old they are. And in our case of me wanting a child of my own, ideally we would have an infant or a baby. And that might be harder to come across because I know there are a lot of older children in the foster system, and at some point we will most definitely foster that age, but I think our initial focus will be foster to adopt, and in our case our preferences would be younger the better. So that is what we're gonna do. Something else that kind of pushed me to want to do one more cycle before we do that is if we end up becoming lucky enough to, let's see if I can turn a light on. Oh, that's even worse. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna have to deal with the dark. If we are lucky enough, here we go, to get pregnant this cycle, the due date would be, or the estimated due date would be on or between my dad's birthday, who has passed, and my birthday. So my dad's birthday is beginning of September, mine's end of September, so I don't know. I'm super, oh my gosh, what's that word? Where you, superstitious, maybe. That's right, I don't know. I'm very superstitious, so I believe in signs and that kind of thing, and I just thought that was cool, and I just thought like something was telling me, hey, don't stop, because that would be something really neat to happen, so give it the chance to. So that's what we're doing. I appreciate all of you guys. As always, I always say this at the end, but it's because I mean it. I love talking to you guys on Instagram. I haven't been as connected recently just because I've been so busy, but if you've messaged me and it takes me a while to reply or haven't replied yet, I did not forget about you. I will definitely talk to you, and I just love it altogether. So if you guys have any questions on anything, the medication I took, timing of anything, definitely let me know. But I do plan to do a video on basically the whole IUI process, the cost of the medication up to it, the cost of the IUI, and like timing, how everything works, and my experience with it. So that'll be a pretty good video for people who are interested, because I do wish there was a lot more videos out there about the cost of everything in fertility, because I know there's so many different things. So of course there are a few videos out there, but to have multiple people's input gives you a good idea of kind of an average baseline of how much things cost. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.